What is up, everyone? It's me, MicahTheManiac, back with another devlog for Orbital Entropy. Now, I think that this devlog is going to be a lot shorter because last time we were covering from pretty much the first devlog I'd ever made, which was like the game was nowhere close to release, all the way up to the release of 1.0. This devlog, I feel there's not much to cover since I have made a lot of changes to the game, but they're more technical and I guess more easy to gloss over. I feel that by now, if you've watched the first two devlogs and maybe even seen some of the progress reports, you'll pretty much know what this video is going to contain. But let's just go ahead and get into it. I am going to be doing something experimental with this video. I think it was pretty apparent last time that I was reading off of a script. And while I have no script in front of me this time, I do want to add some gameplay of Wuthering Waves into the video. So in parts where I'm not showing off gameplay of the game, instead of seeing my face, you're going to be seeing Wuthering Waves. So I hope you enjoy that. I've done it in the past with previous game projects and videos on them, but we're going to bring it back. We're doing away with the face cam for now, and we're just going to bring this back. So let's talk about version 1.1 of the game. This was a very small update released about a week after I launched the game. And pretty much what this did was fix a few bugs and add some new fonts to the game. So before, what I had done is I had created my own fonts. And while it's not necessarily unheard of to create your own font for a game, I wanted something that, number one, looked a little better and could potentially expand out to other languages and alphabets. So that's where the two fonts, Bad Comic and Silver, come in. Bad Comic was meant to replace my font that was more carefree, and Silver was meant to replace my pixelated font. In the future, if I end up adding support for other languages in Orbital Entropy, these fonts are going to make that a lot easier, because rather than designing different letters to different alphabets and stuff like that, these fonts already have it done. These are pretty much going to have support for every Unicode character you can think of. So that's what version 1.1 of the game was. It was something that I was considering throughout development, but I just felt I wanted to get version 1.0 out, and it's something I wanted to do before I focused on version 1.2, which is arguably the biggest update to the game. So to start out with version 1.2, I wanted to add some new threats to the game. And I may have mentioned this before, but I wanted to add asteroids. Specifically, asteroids that would just behave like other planets. You know, they would orbit a largest object and just kind of be an obstacle. And then I also wanted an asteroid that would follow the player like a missile. I felt that once I got these done, I could focus on the rest of what I wanted 1.2 to be, which was a highly technical update. I'm going to admit that for the asteroids, there were some less than ideal solutions for implementing them. However, in the end, I'm proud of the product. I don't want to get too technical, but technically the asteroids don't entirely work as I intended or envisioned them, and I feel a way to fix that would be rewriting the code that I already had for how planets and celestial objects behave in the game, and I don't want to necessarily risk breaking something that would, say break a certain level. But after I added asteroids, I turned my attention to the map editor. Now, the map editor for version 1.0 and 1.1 is pretty much very bare bones. You can add objects and create your own levels, but you can't really, customize these objects. One thing I wanted to add since the start was allowing stars and black holes to move throughout the map. I wanted to allow that customizability for creators of these maps to pretty much do whatever they want, and it would pretty much parody the mechanics in the base game's levels. So that's one thing I got to work on first. With stars, you can allow them to have physics and set a direction for them to move in. And you can pretty much customize various different attributes of different objects in the map editor. So essentially, this version has overhauled the map editor and made it a lot more customizable, which I feel will foster more creativity for anyone who wants to create a map. There's also been some technical changes with handling maps made in different versions of the game. If you were to make a 1.2 map, you may be able to load it into version 1.0. However, if you have a newer object like an asteroid in the level, it will crash version 1.0 of the game. Version 1.2 can handle newer maps. So say I make changes in version 1.5 that affect the map editor, and say I also add a few new items. If you try and import that map made in version 1.5 inside of 1.2, it's going to recognize it as an unsupported map, and instead of crashing the game, it's just not going to let you do anything with that map. I've also fixed a variety of bugs relating to the map editor and how certain mechanics work in the game. And upon that, I've added 11 new levels and 3 new soundtracks to the game. In all, this is the biggest update to Orbital Entropy yet. It's very technical and adds some new content, so I hope that you will check it out in the link in the description. I guess that's pretty much all I have to say for this video, so if you have any thoughts about Orbital Entropy or this video, leave them in the comments down below. If you liked the video, consider giving it a like, and consider subscribing to the channel. I have some future plans for Orbital Entropy, but I don't really feel at liberty to talk about them here. I have just finished up my second production studio course, and I'm heading into an entirely different course at college, and so my attention spent on Orbital Entropy is going to be reduced. But I still have visions for this game, and I hope that you can join me along the way. So thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to watch this video, and I hope you enjoyed. Have a good day.